Alrighty, everyone. We are back on our third episode here. We're still playing around with the format, so give us a few. Other than that, though, Taylor, how have you been today?
Dude, I've been pretty good. I've been working on my Pit Boy.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have a Pit Boy from Fallout that you're creating.
Yeah, that's not a little mini screen on there. It's just that it's like a part of the. You know what? Don't worry about it. It'll look cool when it's done. I swear to God.
I'm sure most of the people have no idea what you're talking about, but it's a Pit Boy. It's in the game Fallout. It's basically your UI for your menu system, items, all that fun stuff.
It has a Geiger counting. Geiger counter. I can't. Well, we just learned a word I have trouble saying.
Yeah, Geiger. Can you say Euro?
Euro.
But no, we today just to kind of date. Today is March 6th, and everyone knows how big of a fan I am of a certain company, Rooster Teeth, that announced something huge today, which is they're shutting down. I wish I could say that it caught me by surprise, but it kind of didn't. I'm actually surprised they didn't announce it sooner. But Rooster Teeth meant a lot to me because it was one of the big inspirations for me to get into entertainment. They weren't the sole reason, but I kind of looked at them with, they were one of the first, in my opinion, to utilize the internet in such a dramatic way that it opened a lot of doors for a lot of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I myself I wouldn't say I was surprised necessarily. I never thought it would happen just because I don't pay attention. I don't follow them anymore. It's been years since I've really looked into Rooster Teeth, but it is something that I'm a little bittersweet about. I loved it for a while. I haven't really been a fan these past few years, so kind of the only part of me that's sad about it is it made me rethink about all of the videos I watched growing up.
Did it really? In what way?
I mean, it's just I haven't sat there and thought about all of their live action shorts they used to do. I remember sitting up late just watching those on the computer. We had this little dinky, it was like a Microsoft computer. It was not Microsoft computers, HP from the mid 2000s. And my stepdad he didn't want to buy a new computer, so he kept getting he would have this guy keep installing stuff on it, and it ran more like shit. But I do remember being on this stupid computer, and every time there was a new episode, I would get all excited, and I'd have some popcorn, and it would be like a little 5-minute video. But it meant a lot to me to get to watch those every time they'd come out.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I remember waiting until the next episode of Red versus Blue came out. So yeah, by all means, it is bittersweet. I just a lot of things happened where I was like, oh, I can't believe they did this, and one thing after another. At a certain point, I couldn't tell that this was them in the sense that there are some videos that they made that entertained me, and the replay factor was astronomical. I have binged so much of their videos time and time again, and I tried to go back recently to watch some of their newer stuff, and man, it's just not the same. It's just not the same.
Do you remember Catch, A Father's Day Tale?
Yeah. I think that's probably one of your favorite ones. I like the mandatory drug test for whatever reason. One of my favorite with the blue Gatorade or the Powerade or whatever it is. It reminds me of something that I would do.
That is a classic, and you know what? And I'll say this too: the very first one I ever watched so the first thing I watched was Rooster Teeth outside of Red versus Blue. I mean, and if you know the internet, you know Red versus Blue. Everybody knows Red versus Blue.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the first video I ever watched was what was that one called? It was there was a computer. I remember it was Gus and Joel. And they had a computer that one of them was having an issue with, and the computer ended up going haywire and going rogue on them. They had to unplug it. I can't think of that episode name, but that was the first one I ever saw. I think it was like the 5th video in that series.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Is that the one where they do the roller coaster thing? I know they end up having to unplug it because like it's gonna set off a bomb or it's gonna do something, and they're like they unplug it.
Yeah, and I remember like one of them was like pull it harder, like talking about the cable, and like you have Jeff walk in, and he goes, "What the hell's going on in here?"
Yeah,
because one of them was like up under the desk. No, I miss it, man. It was, but like those moments, it's exactly what you say. Like watching the newer stuff, it just, and I'm sure there's a crowd. Obviously, there has to have been a crowd, or else it wouldn't have kept going. I mean, it just wasn't anything that ever caught my attention.
I don't know about that because they are going bankrupt. So
okay, yeah,
debatable on if there was a crowd for that.
Yeah, it's hey, hats off to everybody there. I wish everybody the best, and it's a sad moment in a way for me. Even though, like I said, I haven't really been following them in a while, and like it's not the same. But I hope everything goes well for everybody, and let's see what the future holds.
I'm sure it will. I mean, to have that on your resume, I'm sure is going to open doors for their next employer when they're like, oh, you worked at such and such company, and if they're trying to be on the online media, which is what they've been spearheading, for the lack of a better term, I'm sure anyone's going to pick up anyone that was actually worth of value working at Rooster Teeth. I'm sure they won't have any issue.
That's a very good point. That is a very good point.
But yeah, it was crazy. Literally, like 10 people all texted me because I guess they know how much I like that company, asking me about the same, to the point when you started texting me earlier today. I just assumed that you guys were talking about it at work or something because one of your coworkers, since I previously worked there, texted me within like 5 minutes of you texting me, and then 8 other people were texting me. So I was like, did they all like have a group chat or something? And they just decided, hey, let's go annoy Chris.
I mean, look, the option to annoy you is always on the table.
I thought everyone would leave me alone because they know that we've talked about this, I think, off camera. I don't stop. And if you were like to prank me or like try and get one over on me, all it does is fuel my passion to get back at that person, which is why me and you have never entered a prank war, because it would end horribly for everyone involved, and it would end horribly.
That's something we've talked a lot about, actually. Yeah, folks, we have talked many times. If a prank war ensues, it will never end. That's the best part. Like, we've joked about it, but we always remind each other, hey, once it starts, we're in it for life. Yeah, it's never going. I mean, it's going to get crazy. But I don't know, man. Maybe a prank war one day. We could do a test prank war, but I don't know if we'd be able to test a prank war.
I was going to say, how we would have to have reassurance from each other stating that this is a prank war, because I feel like a test prank war is really just us pranking each other, which is very dangerously close to just having an all-out prank war. But I do know how I would strike first, because I feel like I would strike first. I also know how I would retaliate if I'm not the one to strike first. I've put a lot of thought into this.
How would you strike first?
The striking first would obviously to pay you back for this monopoly debt that I owe you. And to anyone who didn't listen to CT Provisions episode 1, it's literally $20 that I owe this jerk because he doesning know how to set up good deals. Yes, in Monopoly money.
It has to be Monopoly bills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I have looked at Amazon, and I've seen a bunch of other like baby money. Like, it looks just like Monopoly money. I don't know if it's intended to teach kids.
That's called counterfeit.
Sir, Monopoly money is counterfeit within this context.
It literally is legal tender.
Monopoly money?
Yes, it's legal tender.
Yeah, in the game of Monopoly.
Well, yeah, and that's a legal game.
You know what? I don't mind risking going to jail for 2 turns or whatever the bullshit is. It's 3
But
turns,
you don't have
right?
to worry about it.
Huh?
Yeah, but you can also have a get out of jail free card.
Sir, I have always played Monopoly in this one way. I will play, and then once about 5 turns is over, I'm like, all right, I'm done playing, and I just quit playing. That's my get out of jail free card.
I mean, it's partly because it is a long game.
It's
It's
a
not
long
short.
game, and in my life, the people who always want to play Monopoly are always kids, and they always want to win, and I hate winning and just like destroying a kid's hopes and dreams. I know you live for that, but me as someone with a soul, I hate doing that.
I mean, my thing though is as much fun as I have playing Monopoly, I do enjoy it. I have a problem with so like a lot of, and you're right, like a lot of kids are the ones that want to start playing it. Like, you go to a family reunion, it's always the kids that start up with the idea of, hey, let's play Monopoly. The problem is, like, I feel like kids don't have the patience that it actually does require to play Monopoly. So I usually don't end up playing it. I will play it, but I actually enjoy playing it online. Like, I'll play like the app.
Dude, I had to stop that app because I was a part of these discords and whatnot, and then they got taken over by like spam and whatnot to the point where I just deleted the app and I stopped. But I was doing really well for a certain point on that Monopoly board game.
Well, maybe we should. I don't think you and I have ever played Monopoly together. We should fix that.
You hear that, everyone? He wants to go to war. I'm okay with it.
The war begins in Monopoly.
It started with territory war, and it will end with everything bad. Everything bad. That's how it will end. God
dang, I haven't played Territory War in so long. That was the game growing up.
Territory Wars was awesome. It was to anyone who doesn't know, it was a flash game, and you had a team. Imagine Worms, okay? If you've ever played Worms, it's that, but with stick figures and much better.
God bless Territory War. You know what? I remember drinking Arizona teas and playing Territory Wars, and what's funny, this is actually something I've talked to a lot of people about. And people will try to call me out and say this didn't happen. I don't care. Go ahead and call me out on it because I'm not gonna. I can't change your opinion. If you don't believe me, I don't care.
Oh, I can't wait to call you out. What kind of lies are you feeding people?
Back when me and Chris got out of high school, we were talking about doing a thing where we would play Territory War, and we were gonna do what was I don't know if they were calling them that yet, but I believe it was a little bit later. But Let's Plays. Back when Let's Plays were a big thing, we were talking about doing a Let's Play with Territory Wars, and I actually remember we were sitting on the couch at your place, and we were talking about how cool would that be if we could broadcast it, like a live stream.
Okay.
Now, we didn't call it a live stream, but we did say broadcasting that.
Okay, I have a bone to pick with my brother and my father because what we're seeing now within like Netflix and Disney Plus and literally any streaming platform, they asked me when I was so young. I was like maybe 18, probably younger to be quite honest. But they asked me what I thought we were going to be at, and I said this because honestly, I think so many people hate ads. But I also envisioned that we would have to go back to ads because the only way to not have ads and stream is to do one of two things. Pay for monthly subscriptions and sell, merchandise. You got to build a brand and sell said merchandise of that brand. Or you do a subscription service and ads. But if you're not doing one or the other, I just feel like you're putting all your eggs in one basket and then, that went away, and now what was a seemingly great business is no more. And I'm telling you, I saw Netflix go through that whole little scramble where they were like, "Oh, we're not going to let you share," and then they were like, "Well, it's hard to know if you are sharing or if you're not. I think it's based off your Wi-Fi. You have to be connected every 90 days or something." But then they added another tier. The cheapest tier is with ads, and you pay extra for no ads. And I was like, this is bullshit. And everyone in this car, I don't remember where we were going, but everyone was like, it'll never happen because X, Y, Z. And I'm telling you, what I'm seeing, I saw then, which is what makes me really optimistic for what we have in store. Because now that we have video, as you can see, we already are trying to build a brand, a couple different brands. And we're going to implement, at least for my company, I always say we because we talk to each other so much, but I'm going to at least have a diversity amount of income because I'm a student to the game. I have seen all these ways that work, and I'm just going to try and cherry pick the best, in my opinion. But yes, no, I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, we called out everything. Like, it's crazy to sit there and think, like, we saw what was going to happen. And at the time...
Well, I'll say this, though. We didn't just, like, call it out because, you know, we're infinitely wise. We grew up with this. We grew up watching Rooster Teeth.
Yep.
We grew up, you know, playing Territory Wars. You know, I remember this wasn't you because you're not so much a fan of rap. But I remember when ERB first came out, and that was, like... huge. And now I think they just tour mostly and they come out with a new song like once every like 6 months or something. But like the culture for us, we got to see the internet literally take hold of our generation because we're one of the lucky ones in the sense that just as much as we were outside, we were also on a screen. Whereas today everyone's on a screen. We had that, you know, flexibility.
Ours was like the best of both worlds. Like we really lucked out with our generation.
So I remember making these estimations based off one, the internet, but also two, what is now being referred to as legacy media, not just like news, but like I got to see how, you know, TV networks operate and how they made money before Netflix, right? Because Netflix is a totally different ballgame. There were no ads, right? When they first came about, they were just sending DVDs to you know, people. It was like Blockbuster, but they would send it to you. And they were competing more with Redbox. I remember that
so well.
Do you remember Redbox? They're still around.
Yeah, they're all. I looked at one. I drove by where where we used to have that apartment. I actually drove by that, I think last night. It was either last night or the night before. And I remember just for whatever reason, I was looking over at like there's like a CVS or a Walgreens or whatever right there. And I'm looking at it and I happen to notice the Redbox that's still out there and it's shut down, I'm pretty sure. But I remember looking at it, I was like, man, it's weird to see a Redbox.
Yeah, well,
it's funny you bring that up.
Everything's so digital, but the times are different now, you know, especially with COVID and everything. If you can get it streamed, more times than not, people are going to go after the streamed version. I personally still like hard physical copies, but it has nothing to do. I'm not one of those weird people who like, oh, bring vinyl back. I just look, if I can't physically hold it, at the end of the day, someone can take it away from me. And that's all there is to that. I've seen countless times where even on like Xbox or Steam, you know, you pay for a code and, oh, you're so excited. And like, 4 or 5 years goes by, the game's been removed and now you can't play said game. And it's bullshit.
Yeah. It really sucks. I mean, there were a couple studios that shut down last year. I was talking about it just a couple months ago, or I mean, really a month ago even. This is back in December where there was a game that had come out, and it might have come out in November, but man, just a few weeks later, like, I mean, this was a big game. It was supposed to be, I believe, an MMO, but it ended up shutting down. I'm blanking on the name of this game, but the studio ended up closing down, and they had to issue a lot of refunds on that, and I'm like, well, I'm glad people actually got refunds out of that. Like, that could have been bad.
Oh yeah,
Because I mean, you got the game. Technically, I feel like the studio probably could have just taken the money and ran. I mean, they were shut down.
I mean, that's probably what they did, to be quite honest. That's probably what they were at least thinking. They're like, we got them right where we need them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But no, yeah, sorry, guys. We really wanted to get up in front and just, I'm sure everyone is talking about Rooster Teeth, but it did mean a lot to us. More of the early days, as I'm sure you guys could tell. That one sandwich bit with the talking sandwich is also up there for me. And Hidden Room. Do you remember Hidden Room? Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Hidden Room. And then there was that one where I will never forget, and I mean, God bless Bernie Burns. I remember so well the one where the guys are in the kitchen, and it was something about like somebody was like eating somebody's food out of the fridge or whatever, and like they're sitting there and they kept replacing everything in all the cabinets with different products. Like the whey powder was replaced with rat poison, the rat poison was replaced with coffee grounds, and like towards the end of it, like they figure out where everything's at, and they realize that the whey powder is what's in Bernie's sandwich, and he starts like getting sick from it, and they're like, wait, but if that's whey powder, like, why are you dying? And he's like, I'm allergic to healthy things.
Yeah, absolutely.
That line has stuck with me my entire life since I've seen that.
Dude, I just remember this while talking to you about it. But do you remember Baby Gus?
Yes.
Oh,
I do.
Baby Gus.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to have to go back. Oh, shit. You know what? Another line that stuck with me to this day. I don't care what the fucking internet says. There's no such thing as double coffee.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to lead in with. Because, yeah, double coffee.
I forgot about that. They had what was it, Paco?
No, that was the same one. Paco was the killing Muppet. That was the same bit that you just explained with the rat poison.
Yeah, because they introduced the puppet that had like it looked like tape from a cassette deck.
Yeah, they brought him back. They brought him back like 5 years ago, I think. I could be totally wrong on when they brought him back, but they for sure brought him back.
I'm gonna leave it with that one episode. I'll let that episode. I'm gonna rewatch all in honor of them closing down. I'm gonna rewatch probably the first 7 seasons of Red vs. Blue. I think were the best ones.
I just thought of something, dude. What's gonna happen to all their old content? Oh no! I need to go and buy all their shorts. Oh no!
I'm probably gonna rewatch all their old stuff. I wouldn't think they would take it off YouTube. Like it's.
Well, it depends on who ends up owning it, though, right? Like if they just bankrupt it and they like close it, then it is what it is. I'm not too sure on the whole bankruptcy thing, but I feel like you have to liquidate the well, that's only if you owe anything, right? That's when they force liquidate stuff. But what happens to the assets? I'm very curious.
That's what I'm thinking. Dude, that's a good question. We'll have to look into that.
I mean, I'm going to try and preserve all of the content that I can because it means that much to me. I'm going to have to go and buy all this stuff. Watch
Catch a Father's Day Tale. I got to rewatch that one. That to this day. Was that a knife? That was a knife.
Yeah, that's so great. It's even better for someone like you who doesn't have a father.
God.
Sorry, I've been waiting to say this ever since last Father's Day. Me and Taylor, we were at lunch with a company gathering, and I wasn't sure if it was Father's Day, so I just looked at him like a normal person looks at a normal other person, and was like, oh shoot, it's Father's Day coming up, right? And this fool looks at me in front of all of our coworkers and bosses, and he goes, hey man, I don't know. I've never had a father. And everyone kind of just like looked at me, and I was like,
so awkward. Yeah. It was the greatest. Like, and mind you, that is not something that bothers me at all. But the moment was there. I had like I said it, and it was meant to be funny. I thought everyone was going to start laughing, and everyone just got dead silent and just looked at Chris. And I was like, oh.
But what made it better is I knew exactly what vibe you were going for, so I started laughing, and I think that helped the tension. Also, everyone knows how close we were, so like I feel like if I laughed, they knew that you were cool with it.
It was pretty good. It was a good moment. It was a 100% great moment, and you know what? I'm glad that we have immortalized that moment on the podcast.
Oh, we have to. We absolutely have to. You fatherless fuck.
Maybe I might go through and do a little animation or something maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
I will say this. Speaking of the podcast, I was very pleasantly surprised with the feedback that we got on our first episode. I wasn't expecting as many views as we had amongst all of the videos. So honestly, if you were one of those people that watched any of our content, thank you guys so much. This podcast is going to keep growing and building. We're going to try and improve it as much as possible. This week, we are actually going to have 2 episodes go live. One went live about an hour before recording this podcast, exclusively to ASMPfilms.com. And on Friday, we will have another one go live, which will be this episode, because next week, well, really Saturday, this coming up Saturday, which is going to be in 3 days from now, me and Taylor are going to our first convention, so we can go ahead and try and build an audience for Knights of Belmont. It's going to be our first show that's going to come out sometime this year. And I just kind of want to be able to talk about that experience while it's fresh in our head.
Absolutely. You know what's really great about Knights of Belmont? I really want to show people what we have, right? But I maybe next week will be the week. But I was live streaming on Monday night, and I was actually about to show a little clip. I told everyone on my stream, I was like, hey, I'm going to turn the audio down. Y'all don't get to hear the audio yet. But I'm going to show you all a quick little 10-second clip so you can see the animation style. And I got everything all set up. And as soon as I was about to hit play, I noticed that my stream was acting weird. Everything was acting weird. And I look over at my desktop, and my desktop has lost internet. And I'm like, that's odd. And I look down at my laptop, and my laptop now has lost internet. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Our internet, the router straight up just kapooted Monday night. And I was like, that sucks. I was going to show the world a little bit. But I guess it wasn't meant to be. That's the way I look at it.
That's exactly what I was about to tell you. That just means it was a sign that hey, no, not yet.
Yeah, the internet itself was just slap on the wrist.
But no, I am. I'm really excited. I'm very grateful for the amount of views that we did get. I know it's not a lot to most people, but for me, it was the first thing that we've ever really produced at this level. And just to see, comments and likes and the subscribers that we did get, I'm looking forward to it because we have many, many more podcasts to come, and we have many more projects to come as well. Not just from ASMP, but also, partners like LM Studios and a few others. It's going to be a great year in terms of content, and we're looking forward. And so please subscribe, keep coming back, keep checking in. We're going to have something for everyone.
Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy year. I'm fired up. I mean, on my end, even it's nonstop from here to the end of the year. And I mean, it's really not going to end at the end of the year. But no. I'm happy to say that I've got a full year booked.
Yeah, you do, because there's always a second season for any show that we got going on right now.
Oh yeah, in fact, to my knowledge, I probably have about 5 or 6 big projects coming out of LM right now, at least this year. And next year, I feel like it's probably going to double up.
Double up. Hell yeah. I can't wait to be bossing you around.
But shoot, man, it's probably what's going to happen. I'm like, hey, man, I need you to got to hold me accountable. I'll be sitting there sleeping at my desk, and you're gonna come by and hit me with the freaking slingshot or something.
Nah, it's gonna be a yardstick. You're gonna be like, oh, I didn't know I was raised Catholic.
God damn. Okay, we went there.
I was raised Catholic. I didn't go through that experience though.
God, I miss Arizona watermelon teas.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
whatever it is.
thank you for bringing that
punch.
up. So, I can't tell you my source, and I'm not a journalist, so fuck you. But I have it on good authority that apparently people from this area, when they go into a, oh man, I'm blanking on it. Well, witness protection. When people in the Texas area, when they go into witness protection, apparently the state of Arizona, 9 times out of 10, is the state that you're going to go to start your new life. I heard this from someone who may or may not have had direct experience within that. And when I found this out, it made me so happy because, one, I just love knowing facts like that, but two, I now know that if I want to live dangerously, all I got to do is go to Arizona and start knocking on doors and just hear what stories are there to be told.
Just like get the name, pretend that you're a gangster and just go knock on each door.
Bro,
Just use a name that you would think that person has been is trying to hide from, and then go knock on each door and be like, "Hey, so and so sent me."
I feel like I could pass as a gangster if I wanted to be. I won't do an impression right now, but I feel like I could.
You absolutely passed as a gangster.
When?
All right, I won't say the person's name, but back before you worked with the company I'm at right now, you had been, when you went in for your interview, you were just dressed up nice. And somebody at the company, he came and talked to me. He goes, "Hey, so and so is interviewing somebody right now." And I was like, "Oh yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah, the guy, Chris, he looks like he could be in a mafia." And I'm like, "He probably is, man. I wouldn't mess with him if he looks like he's in the mafia."
I'll say this. I know exactly what you're talking about because you work there. I won't get too lost in the weeds with you on it. But one thing that me and you have both said is when it comes to that individual, we miss such a huge opportunity by not trying to convince that dude that me and you hated each other. I don't know what we were thinking. We should have been like, that dude right there, fuck that dude. And it would have been so great. And we dropped the ball.
And the best part is we realized it a couple weeks later and we're like, man, we should have done that. And we try. I feel like we did try for a week or two to convince him that, we were just pretending to like each other. But then I think he saw right through it.
Well, yeah, it doesn't help that we're always going to lunch together and we're always talking with each other. And then we got roped into some bullshit marketing, which debatable on the marketing part.
Yeah, right.
But, I'm not mad at how any of it ended, and it was fun and interesting times.
Yeah, it was good times, but you know what? It was a closing of one chapter and an opening of a new chapter.
Yeah, and I can still confidently say this. You hear this guy, you see this guy, fuck that guy. Fuck him. Fuck you, Taylor.
Uncle.
Oh, man. But I actually just thought about something. With it being such a weird week, and we're going to be doing a bonus upload, I think we're actually going to cut this episode short. I think we're actually going to wrap up. It'll give me some time to, play with everything and see how we're going to do this in terms of video, if that's all right with you, Taylor. Because I really next week want to spend a lot of time on our experience with the convention we're going to. If it's all right with you, I think I'm going to wrap this up just so I have more time to edit with it coming out here Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. By all means.
But honestly, guys, stay in tuned. We're going to be doing a lot more conventions. possibly outside of Texas as well, but everything's still in the works. I will say this, in the YouTube description, I am going to put a link to my email because we are doing casting calls for both Knights of Belmont as well as Table Manners. They're both animated. You don't necessarily have to come in person. So if you want to audition, I'm going to have my email out there. And then here in a bit, we're going to upload another video, probably the second week of March is when it's going to come out, with instructions if you want to, participate remotely.
Oh yeah, definitely, guys. That's a big deal. If you're interested, we're all open for it. Knights of Belmont's going to be a great show. Like we said earlier, it's not the big series, but it is a big series.
What does that mean about Table Manners? If you're over here, Knights is going to be great. What, Table Manners is going to be shitty? How dare you? You're only saying that because I'm show running Table Manners and you're show running the other.
You're goddamn right.
Well, you know what I say to that? It's war.
Territory war.
No, guys. Honestly, thank you guys for your support. Have a great weekend if you're listening to this live when it comes out. If not, have a great rest of the day and or week.
Yeah, guys. Y'all take care.
Okay. Sorry. It's just something's going on with the audio, so I wasn't too sure if I'm going to be able to use it. I think I should, but also it just dawned on me I won't have enough time to edit this. And with it being video, it's going to take longer than normal anyways.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, but I'm not going to use this footage.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, real quick, you did sound like you kind of cut out when you were doing your goodbye.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, I don't know if it was just me. It could have been just on my end. I don't know.
Okay, hold on.